What is going on, people? I want to make a video about Palantir. It's the weekend. This is going to be a very important video. It's going to be more so the theory and the long-term play of Palantir. Sorry, I look a little dramatic with the light, but if I open this too much sun is going to be coming out, so it's okay. Earlier today, I was actually talking to somebody on the same topic that I was listening to. Dan Ives, the owner of Webbush, the managing partner, he is a public figure and he's an analyst. Matter of fact, he's probably the number 2 biggest analyst after like Cathie Wood for the retail investors. He came out with a report around 2 weeks ago that shot Palantir up from $16 to $20. And the report called Palantir, the Messi of AI. And it calls for a $25 price target. Earlier today, he was on Amit's and Arnie's Twitter space. Shout out to Arnie. Shout out to Amit. You can catch it on a rerun if you go to Amit's Twitter. If you guys don't have Twitter, I have it on my channel. I just did a live. Just look it up. You know, I posted it up about an hour ago. Now, Arnie's super critical. Amit is more philosophical. They were a great team. And they asked him like to back up his thesis, his theory. And Dan Ives said something very interesting. He said, look, right now, it's a case of will they or will they not live up to the story? Will they be able to write this book or will they get stuck on the first chapter? What does this mean? Palantir has an amazing story, but they also have the ability to live up to that story. It's not only telling a story, it's the ability to have a reality. That reality is not guaranteed. That story has not fully been written, but we are in the beginning chapters. And that story is a revolution of artificial intelligence for the entire world, a global artificial intelligence market. That market is somewhere between $2 trillion and $15 trillion, depending on, what analytics, what statistics you look at, whatever. And the growth rate is 30+% CAGR, compound annual growth rate. That's for artificial intelligence. He says that whenever he speaks to anybody smarter than him, all these people always ask about when it comes to artificial intelligence, they speak about always Palantir, Palantir, Palantir. If you believe in the 4th industrial revolution is artificial intelligence, then the story can come true. If you don't believe in it, well, I can't help you, and definitely the wrong stock for you. I do believe in it. Him and many others are comparing artificial intelligence to the same revolution as the internet, for example. Now, the internet took a very long time to actually come to fruition. A lot of companies were very early. Amazon came from that .com era, .com bubble. Now, the .com bubble is a bunch of companies that weren't up to it. It was more hype than anything else. And not that the internet or .com, super cycle was fake. They weren't ready. You needed high-speed internet, you needed different cable, you needed a better network, you needed better computers, and now we're ready for the internet, right? The last decade is just boom, internet. And that's kind of what's happening right now with artificial intelligence. Is it going to be hype, a bubble, or is it reality? Now, it takes time to build into this. Dan Ives is saying he's going to give Palantir the next 6 to 8 quarters, which is a year and a half to 2 years. And he believes, he was asked the question on the live, what does he think Wall Street is going to do? And he says, listen, Wall Street is usually late, and Wall Street wants to see the story build up. And if they can deliver, Wall Street is going to reward them. And he says that it's going to take around that year and a half, 2 year time frame, which is interesting. And I was saying this a year and a half about Palantir that I want to give them until the end of 2023, which they proved at the end of 2023 with the new platform and that they're growing, so on and so forth. If Palantir can do that, Palantir's price goes up. Then you can see that $25, $35, $45, $50 in the future, maybe triple digits, multiple triple digits, so on and so forth. Even a $1 trillion market cap, which he did mention, it's possible. Now, possible, probable, likely, highly unlikely, those are completely different scenarios. But he justified his price target because of this whole artificial intelligence, that this is literally blowing up globally, not just the US, globally. And Palantir is at the forefront. Palantir has this huge opportunity to grow. One of the negatives about Palantir, and I'm going to keep it real, is their growth rate was only 13% growth, revenue. And last quarter it was only 16%, or 18, 16, 12, 18%. They're not doing too good in growth. They're doing okay, but not great, not even good, okay, not terribly shitty. But they are not justified as a massive growth company. And I think one of the biggest things about Palantir, and we're going to see if this plays out. I could be right, it could be wrong. They have two main issues. Number one, it takes a very long time to court a client. Mega clients, these huge clients. Remember, the top 20 clients are worth $54 million contracts each. It's huge. And by the time they get this client, then they need to extend the contracts and grow into that. But this is for the mega clients. What happens is Palantir needs to have an ability to do smaller clients. They can't just rely on these mega clients because they're only catering to certain types of huge corporations that actually need Palantir. But for the most part, it's overkill. I was listening to Ticker Symbol U, talking to Palantrillion. Shout out to Palantrillion, also on the Twitter space. Definitely follow him. You guys probably follow both of them. And he says, you know, using Palantir is like if somebody needs to cross the street, Palantir is a UFO. And people are like, well, I don't need a UFO. I just need to use my feet to cross the street. It's overkill for many companies. So Palantir needs to dumb down their product. That's one thing, and that's why I also believe their growth is so slow. Because I thought, honestly, they were going to be able to scale down and more companies were going to use their product. It's not that the product doesn't work. It's not that the product is not the best in the market. The problem is not everybody needs it. If you're living in Florida and it's not snowing, you don't need a lifted truck. You can want it, you can have it, but you don't need it for the snow. You don't need four-wheel drive, right? If you don't live next to a lake, you don't need a boat, right, next to the water. So it's like, you don't need Palantir, and I think that's what the problem is. It's not that the Palantir is not the best. Not everybody needs the best. Sometimes you don't need a lifted truck. You just need a 4x4, right? Sometimes you don't need a boat. You just need to have a jet ski, for example, right? Both a jet ski and a boat will get you across the water. Both of them are fun. You don't need one or the other. Both the four-wheel drive and the lifted truck, I'll get you through rain, but you don't need the lifted truck because, you know, there's no need for it. Both of them are four-wheel drives. You understand what I mean? Maybe I'm using bad analogies, but I'm trying to just explain it in simple terms. So that's one reason why I believe Palantir is not growing as we all thought they would. And let's be honest, the 13% is nothing to write home about. And the second reason why they're not growing possible, which is very good actually, that they're giving away their software for a very cheap price. And the reason they're doing this is to get people enticed in using their software. The same way they started working with the US government during COVID, and the same way they were working with the NHS during COVID. You start for $1, £1, and you increase. Because they're doing that, maybe the revenue that they're getting per contract is a lot smaller than they thought they would get. So those are two reasons why I believe Palantir is at 13%. If you believe that Palantir is at 13% for those two reasons, that Palantir is the bomb diggity dog of software, then they have the ability to grow and scale in the future, especially if, grow and scale, dumb down their product so that more smaller companies and businesses, and not tiny ones, just smaller ones, can have specific use cases that other companies can provide. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you guys giving me Gesundheit. So Palantir can compete with other companies that can provide scaled down versions of what Palantir does, but Palantir is still going to do it better. Palantir also needs to be able to market and showcase exactly what they're doing to a very common person, a non-technical person, a non-geek, a non-nerd, a non-IT guy, a non-engineer. They got to be able to showcase what they do to a simple person that's running a business, whether it's a mega corporation or a small business or any business that they want to be able to sell their products to. So now that I explained to you two reasons why Palantir might not be growing by what they were supposed to, that's my opinion, it's a huge opportunity. If you believe that this AI thing is going to grow, specifically large language models. Now, It's crazy that on this channel, we did a few tests. 65% of the people listening to this don't use ChatGPT. They don't use Bard. They don't stack any artificial intelligence programs. And you guys are in the artificial intelligence field, essentially. It's absolutely bonkers to me. But if you are into artificial intelligence, you would know how much better artificial intelligence platform AIP is than ChatGPT. It's absolutely massive. So this is the growth story, the growth potential of Palantir. And if you believe that the AI market is going to become so much bigger, and we're literally just at the beginning of it, that's if you believe it, then you have to believe in the theory, thesis, and growth potential of Palantir. The people that invest in Palantir are very special investors. We are called growth investors, okay? And we like growth stories. Some people invest in companies that are already profitable, already huge, and they don't care about the growth. They just want steady returns. They're happy with their 10, 20% returns over several years, maybe sometimes more, maybe sometimes less, or maybe investing in an index fund, getting their 7% a year, sometimes more, sometimes less. But we want the big, aggressive, high double digits, triple digit growth over a certain amount of time. Now that growth might not always be here. Maybe in 10 years Palantir is not going to have that crazy growth, but we're hoping that we're going to be in the game before Palantir hits its plateau. Now, I know it seems like Palantir kind of fell off a cliff with the growth, and I'll tell you this. It's easy to fall off when the growth was past 30%, which we had for a while. And now that it went down, it's easier to go back up. So we might have a couple of really good surprise quarters next year that we get our 20% plus. And we don't need 30. 30 is great, 40 is great. But if we at least get 20s, Wall Street's going to start rewarding us. And then we build up into 30, 40, right? So on and so forth. That's the thesis. That's the hope. That's the pray. That's the investment that we make, the dedication, the love, the determination in Palantir. At the end of the day, that's the type of investors we are. We're investing in a story and the potential. Don't let nobody, fool you. Don't let nobody laugh at you that Palantir is another AMC or Bed Bath & Beyond. It's not. Palantir is working at the highest level in the United States government and governments abroad, our allies, and working with the biggest companies in the world, both domestically and abroad. Think about it. As we know, 13% of all hospital beds are running on Palantir. Just let that sink in. Guys, a lot of fun time ahead. I am happy to be on this journey with you guys. And for me, I think artificial intelligence is going to be bigger than we can possibly imagine. However, Palantir has a very good stranglehold on artificial intelligence in terms of their artificial intelligence is there not to replace the human, but to allow the human to be more productive. That's the difference between Palantir and a lot of other companies, and said a lot of times by Dr. Alex Karp, Cheyenne, and the other people in Palantir. One other thing, a lot of people, or I heard that people are saying that, what happened to Gotham, what happened to Foundry, why are they not growing 30%? Why is this shift in AIP? Maybe the entire time, because Dr. Alex Karp said, hey, we had AIP, as I've been saying on this channel, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we've been using it in the military context. We just, wrapped it up. Now that you have OpenAI and ChatGPT and Bard and stuff like that. Maybe the entire time, as Dr. Alex Karp, and I'm gonna, literally, I wanna hone in, I wanna highlight, maybe this was the plan the entire time. Because Alex Karp says, sometimes we'll have more than 30%, sometimes we'll have less than 30, but over a decade, I'll give you 30% compound annual growth rate. Maybe this whole time was that they were developing AIP, large language models, artificial intelligence for companies before companies knew they needed it. Now is the time that they realized that they need it, and that's why Palantir was able to launch so fast and pushing it on 400 of their clients. Already 100 are using it, another 300 are going to have use of it. We got to see the conversion rate. Guys, thank you so much. I don't know where this journey ends. I'll be God's honest truth. I don't know where this journey ends. But it's a fun journey, man. It's a fun journey. And I'm happy to be on the journey with you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. If you do want to support me more, $3 a month, I have channel membership. I promise you I give you a shit ton of extra content. Not just behind the scenes of me making videos, but actual money-making content. I'm not a financial advisor, purely entertainment and education. Nor should you ever take financial advice from a YouTuber. If you take financial advice from me, you're a schmuck. but I'll give you my all, and I'll give you my own personal place. Thank you very much. I love you all. Go enjoy your loved ones. I'm going to go take my girl out to a beautiful meal. Probably I'll hit up Williamsburg or something like that in downtown Brooklyn. Maybe I'll go to the city. I'll hit up Soho or something like that, maybe a rooftop. The lovely, beautiful mother of my children. Her parents are babysitting my son and my daughter. Life is beautiful. Life is good. Thank you so much. I love you all.